Hey everybody, Chola here, the Joe you trust, back with the Walking Dead Roast 5 video, featuring Alice, Road to Revives. After many outcries for needing counters to revives, they give us a counter to those human shield revives, but they also make her a reviver. I don't get it anymore, and I stopped trying to figure out a long time ago, but investors. I do want to mention that I think when the Season 3 League Store characters come out, we will be getting a Decapitate in there. I feel it in my bones. And at the same time, what I'm about to show you sort of scares me, as this pushes my idea that a Decapitate will be in the League Store, but to upgrade them, it will be gear gated. If we take a look at the gear in our inventory, I can see a new item here being a baseball cap for upgrading Season Store tunes. So the new generation of survivors coming into the League Store are going to be gear gated. I don't know what the amounts will be, but I'm not a fan of this at all. There is a reason why I saved up gear to not use on lackluster survivors, so I can use it on more Premier S survivors and not have to waste a bunch of time to actually get them to where I want them to be. But let's continue onwards with Alice's Survivor Spotlight. Out of all the medics, Alice ranks 5th in terms of highest defense, and my goodness, for a medic does she have a high attack stat. Granted, her Adrenaline Rush does no damage, but once she applies 75% attack to the team, her basic attacks can sting a bit when slapping up a green survivor. Seeing her defense and HP together looks fairly close to the first generation survivors, so if you use her on defense and you get raided by heavy blues, I can see her dropping turn 1, so nothing too special stat-wise for defense, but for attack, when we raid, we get to attack first. Having a 1779 attack stat can help getting a turn 1 kill once her leadership attack buff is applied. Her character card overall is pretty nice. Her leadership skill is where it's at, as now we can set up teams just to have complete trade advantages over our enemy. I mentioned this in my Eric video that someone like Alice was coming very soon, and then next week comes rolling around and boom! Alice is here. This leadership skill is going to create a new dynamic of teams, which is something needed. Her Adrenaline Rush doesn't heal or give bonus HP, which is strange for a medic, as the only other medic that doesn't heal is Hunter for their Adrenaline Rush. These new Adrenaline Rushes coming into the game, though, I swear, in about 4 to 5 months, Adrenaline Rushes are going to be 8 sentences long and will have every mechanic to the survivor for its role. I think this is getting a bit out of hand, but this is the way they chose their progression. A 75% attack buff for 3 turns when you have a leadership skill that gives huge bonus to AP when attacking means you will always have a 75% attack buff when fighting after you use it the first time, which is pretty freaking sweet. The next part is focus for 2 turns, and since we have an AP leadership skill, we will want to almost always bring a command with Alice so you can get her Adrenaline Rush popping off turn 2 to serve the same purpose as what we used to use Kate for. After the focus is applied, all teammates will recover from impair, which is nice, but I don't think too many impairs will be floating around when you're versing greens and yellows. I could be wrong though, as I figure that would be more so along the lines of stuns and taunts. After all the buffs and recover impair, we will then revive someone to 50% HP. The revived survivor will not benefit from the buffs and will not have focus. Her active is where her heal is to give her that medic role. Her active is heal and AP gain. 3 teammates will get 35% HP, which to be honest is pretty damn low compared to what you can get from other medics out there. Alice will then apply 35% AP to herself, which is 26.6, which rounds up to 27 AP, which the AP portion only comes through in special niche situations rather than something you can systematically predict. I will say this active is pretty awkward if you have her gain 40 AP per attack, as come turn 3 you have to make a choice whether to use her Adrenaline Rush or her active, which you are pretty much going to use her Adrenaline Rush as it has more sentences in it. If she gets 30 AP per attack, then come turn 3, she cannot Adrenaline Rush, but you can use her active to heal, and the bonus HP she gets will allow her to use her AR turn 4. If she gets 30 AP per attack, then come turn 3, she cannot Adrenaline Rush, and neither can the rest of the team, but you can use her active to heal, and the bonus AP she gets will allow her to use her Adrenaline Rush turn 4. And now when turn 4 comes rolling around, you can use her Adrenaline Rush to buff the team and then continue as you would do if you gained 40 AP per attack. As for a weapon, her initial weapon I am not that impressed with. As for the impair, I would replace it with stun when being attacked. Reason for this is that turn 1 she attacks, turn 2 she is commanded to use her Adrenaline Rush, turn 3 she does nothing. Rinse and repeat, so having her wield something where she will probably only attack once every 3 turns is not advantageous. We can make this better by allowing her to utilize her special weapon mod through her being attacked. AP when attacking for turn 2 AR usage with the command at the start, and will allow a constant 75% attack buff. I would buff her HP to 35% for survivability, as if we go up against green versus blue leadership team comps, then we need to be prepared for double attack blues, which can potentially take her out. As for combat mods, it's going to be tanky with resist. Defense set to boost her defense a little bit so double attack weapons do not hurt her so bad, especially if they are blue. Health combat mod to stack her HP even more, and what we're going to do here is, since we have the potential of going up against green-blue team comps, we're going to want defense versus blue. As for our resist mods, we're going to go stun resist and impair resist, as once Alice applies focus, we don't really have to worry about confuse or taunts too much, so our main resist factors are going to be stun and impair. We're going to bring resist combat mods for those two. To give her more survivability, since we're not using a defense combat mod, we're going to go with Grays for a overall damage mitigation setup. Now it's time for the team comps. First attack team, we're going to be dealing with those nasty revive defense teams. And in this team, we are going to be bringing a duplicate, and it's going to be Alpha. I know a lot of people struggle just to get one Alpha, and very few people have two, but if you're able to put this team together, any melee team that you're going up against, especially if it's heavy yellow, you're going to pretty much win on turn 3. Because once Alice buffs the team with 75% attack, 40% attack leadership skill, and Alpha, if you build them damage to the teeth, then yes, once they adrenaline rush, the fight probably will be over. And if it isn't, it's somebody with one arm, one leg, and they're just trying to run away, and all they can do is just go in circles. That's all that they can do. And then you just put them out of their misery. In the case that any of our Alphas take severe damage, turn 1, we can command Rosita on turn 2 to heal that HP back up and cleanse any debuffs that happen to be on them to allow them to live to turn 3, to where they're just going to start lopping heads off. Second attack team, we're going to be going a little bit brute force with some defense down. The idea behind this team is we're going to be using Shiva and Bruce basically for their active CCs, and if the other enemy team has heavy special weapon mods, Bruce will step in and take care of that for us. And if Bruce happens to fail with his disarm, Shiva will come in with her stun active to give it another shot. Once turn 3 comes rolling around, we will be using Alice's Adrenaline Rush, and we will be using Jeremiah's Adrenaline Rush to lower defenses to the other team. So now we have a major attack buff, and the enemy has a major defense down debuff. At this point, Brian, who has collateral damage, can be hitting somebody with a defense down to actually increase the damage of his collateral damage to the enemies around him. In theory, if Brian was to hit somebody with 70% defense down, while he is built to the teeth in damage, he should be able to launch a lot of damage through his collateral damage, especially if you also put splash damage on his weapon as well. For anybody else that is still alive, we can use Shiva to burn them down, CC with their active, or we can do the same thing with Bruce and AP down with his active as well. Third attack team, we're going to be taking a little bit more of a sustain safer approach, but this team will take a little bit to start picking up, as turn 3 is where this team starts to shine. With this team, everybody attacks normally turn 1. Turn 2, we're going to be commanding Alice for the attack buff and focus to the team, so we do not get affected by taunts and confuses and any other human shields out there. Come turn 3, we're going to be using Lewis's Adrenaline Rush and either Dante or Erica, whichever one that you have and can bring, to not only do damage, disarm, and then give sustain to the team. We will also be getting defense buffs as well if we bring Dante, or bonus HP if we happen to bring Erica. Also for turn 3, what we're going to be doing is we will be commanding Chris, so we do not have to use his Adrenaline Rush turn 4. And once Chris gets a high attack buff from Alice, he will start to literally beat the living shit out of your enemy. Considering he also is an AP gaining machine when it comes to his weapon and his Adrenaline Rush, there is a great chance that you might be able to use Chris's Adrenaline Rush every turn or every other turn, considering he will be getting 40 AP per attack. Now let's go to the defense teams. I figured a good defense team right now would be to incorporate any way possible some of the new stat increase survivors, basically second generation survivors, which is Alice, Cole, and Eric. We're going to also want to bring in a human shield, because once Magna starts to human shield, she will get a 50% defense stackable buff, which will put her on par with the defensive stats of the second generation of survivors. And we will have Erica as our leader for the 40% defense and 40% HP leadership skill, and extreme high sustain. This team right here pretty much says Erica is going to be the weakest one in terms of stats, so if the enemy actually tried to focus her down first, we can really prepare for that and make her extremely tanky through Grays, defense versus blues, HP, defense combat mods, defense set, so on and so forth, basically putting her stats, if not higher or close to, the second generation of survivors. And that's going to wrap up the video of Alice, Road to Revives. I don't know about you all, but I am going to be pulling for this survivor because I really do have a weak anti-melee team, and I really have a strong anti-range team, so I'm going to try my luck with the coins that I've been saving up throughout the leagues and offers and ads. So expect a pull video in the near future. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, Mage Lab 4G, anything positive, please get a nice karate chop, like, subscribe button, make sure you comment down below. Sports greatly appreciated. And on that, I'll catch you on the next video.